So there's this concept that I want to talk about that I think is very important for men to understand. Like, if you're trying to run the game of understanding the different levels of sexual attraction on Brody scale of sexual attraction, and you believe that prioritizing sexual attraction and sexual compatibility is very important, right? And that you understand that that is something that a woman can feel for you up front, and that you like to start on at least an 8 level of sexual attraction, this is something that is very important to understand, right? There is a difference between asking a woman for sex, trying to get pussy from a woman, versus offering sex and offering your dick. There's a difference between offering sex versus asking for sex, right? It's two completely different mindsets. You have to understand that most women's mindset, there's two types of women who are going to be receptive to you approaching them. And a lot of it's going to have to do with you. A lot of it's going to have to do with you and how you approach a woman, but also how she views you. One woman, right? She may have a tepid level sexual attraction to you, right? Maybe in the 6 to 7 range. Maybe even the 5 range. You got to look at my scale on sexual attraction. If it's a 5, you need to come with it, right? Now, I'm not saying do that. You have to set your own standards as a man as far as how much a woman needs to desire you in order for you to be willing to interact with her. And you can establish that pretty fucking fast. You establish that by the way that you approach a woman. If you approach her with your wallet, that might be a 5 level of sexual attraction. It could be higher, but it might be a 5 level. Because depending on how forward you are about your sexual intentions is going to determine what level of sexual attraction that woman has to you if she's receptive to it. Now, what you have to understand is that if you drop down a level, you're putting that woman in control of the scenario. But if you put what she wants ahead of what you want, you're putting her in control of the scenario. So there's the 5 level, which means you need to be her husband, or at very least like engaged, or you're putting money directly into her hand saying, hey, listen, check this out. You got this bill right here. Just let me know. We link up. I want to have a good time with you, but, we get intimate. But let me know if you got a bill, you got something you want to get, something on your Amazon list. I take you out. I fly you out. We go to this nice place. We have us a good time. So that's tricking. You know what I mean? But it's a more nice way. You're giving her a little bit of plausible deniability. But that's what you're leading with. She has the option of turning it down, and she also might not follow through, and you can't force it if she don't want to follow through. Now, if she gets dependent on it, and then you're not trying to keep providing that, then she might fork it up if she don't really feel like doing it. But I don't suggest playing a game that way. Some men will, though. Some men have more money than time to learn game. Some men have more money than sexual confidence. So they have more confidence in their bag than they do in their dick. And they sex appeal their sexual attractiveness. Right? Then you got the 6th level, which is, I really want to get to know you. And you really follow through with trying to get to know that woman, right? So you might have to be her boyfriend first, because these women are getting smart, right? And what I mean by they getting smart is whatever level you say you're trying to approach that woman on, that's going to be the level she wants you to follow through with. So if you say you want to get to know that woman, you really got to sit there and get to know that woman. So you might have to be her boyfriend first, or at least on the cusp of becoming her boyfriend. That's the 6th level. So it's your persistence. It's your consistency. Now, on that level, you link up with a woman. Well, at first, she probably not even going to want to be alone with you at first. But some women, they might do that, right? So on that level, you get to know her long enough. You get along with her. You try to make that move, try to make it sexual. She gonna be like, hold up, I'm not comfortable yet. She want to get to know you, right? She wants to know it's going to be serious first. There might be a 6th level of sexual attraction right there. Now, on that level of sexual attraction, and it's not static, it's dynamic, and a lot of it has to do with your approach, but there is a certain baseline of sexual attraction that a woman may have for you that's going to determine how receptive she's going to be to whatever approach you take. But whatever approach you take, chances are she's going to expect you to be consistent with that and persistent with that, right? So that means if you aren't sending her them good morning texts, you aren't really trying to get to know her for real, then on that 6th level, it's not really going to work, because she's going to feel like you're not serious if that's how she feels about you and that's how you approached her. Those things have to be aligned, right? Then there's that 7th level, which is you give a woman a certain level of plausible deniability. So you might take her out maybe 1-2 times. And let me go back to the 6th level. You have to take her out a good bit of times, really get to know her, right? But on that 7th level, it's just basically, you might take her out 1, 2, 3 times, right? That's kind of where the 3-date rule comes in. You don't have to have a relationship right on the table, but she at least wants you to spend a little money, or it may not take any money, but you got to make her feel comfortable. Give her a little validation. You make her feel good about herself. You might link up with her, Netflix and chill. First couple times you might link up, you give her some plausible deniability, and if you know how to finesse that game at the 7th level, then you could be able to link up with her possibly on the first time. And if you know how to seduce her the right way, run your game at the 7th level, then when y'all link up, plausible deniability, boom. You seduce her, you get it popping, you get it cracking, right? That's the 7th level. But on the 8th level, you are approaching a woman, having a short little conversation, or maybe you do it online, right? And you say something that strikes her curiosity in a sexual way, right? And what you have to understand about this is this. There's a difference between offering a woman your body versus asking her for hers. There's a great difference between that, because that shows sexual confidence. When you go up to a woman and it's like you're asking for sex, and that's how she feels about you approaching her on a sexual level, then she's going to feel like, if you're asking me for my body, what the fuck am I going to get out of it? You need to understand the difference. You need to understand the difference, right? And on that level, a woman is going to tell you what her price is, right? So if the price is much lower than that, then she might just cancel it. She's like, all right, cool. He don't really want to get to know me for real, so I don't want to fuck with him. But she might tell you, well, why don't you try to get to know me first? It might be a 6th level, 7th level, maybe overplayed your hand, but it's about your standards. It's not about what she wants, man. You have to, as a man, you got to set your standards about how much a woman has to desire you for you to deal with her. If you drop down from the level that you approach on, then guess what? There's a loss of respect. If you jump up a level from what you approached on, that's a loss of safety. She feels disrespected, right? So you got to be consistent with how you play your game, the role that you want to play. So on that 8th level, you're offering your dick, right? And a woman is going to feel different about it. If you create that sexual curiosity, you create that sexual chemistry, that tension within that conversation, and you try to get shit cracking, the way it's going to work is this. You're offering your body to her, right? Now on this 8th level, it's about your lack of fear of rejection. Your lack of fear of rejection, your boldness, your directness. You let her know what the fuck time it is. You let her know what you're trying to do, right? And you have confidence within yourself, and your energy has to be on point. Your mouthpiece has to be on point. Your game got to be on point, but it's about your directness, right? That's what the 8th level is about. That's the pure level of sexual attraction. That's where it starts at, is on the 8th level. And on that level, a woman may not make herself 100% free no matter what. She may not do it right there on the spot. But as long as you don't say some goofy shit, and the situation transpires, and it's in a short enough period of time between when you first had that conversation, or when you first make your sexual intentions known, and then when you all actually link up, then now you're in a position to where you can get it cracking. Now, if you're at like a party or some shit like that, you got to try to capitalize on it that night, because afterwards she may not be in that same mood about you, because you didn't show the boldness to try to capitalize on it to the best of your abilities once that curiosity will strike up, right? Once that tension was created, you have to set it up. And don't be on her ass. Don't keep trying to talk to her a whole bunch of incessantly afterwards. But you do hit her up, see if you're still on. Then you give her instructions. You tell her, all right, cool, this is the time and the place. You see when she's free. If she's not free then she either is going to let you know when she's free, right? You hit her up. Or you be like, okay, when you're free. Like, when are you free? And then she'll let you know when she's free. You set it up, you get it cracking. That's the 8th level of sexual attraction, right? Now, on the 9 level, it's different. Chances are on the 9 level, there may be some type of choosing signals. But if you approach on the 8th level and a woman that's on a 9 level, you're still going to be good. But on that 9 level of sexual attraction, and understand sexual attraction is more than just looks. Looks play a part. But also, if you have a kink or a fetish that a woman is interested in, that she's engaged in, that's something that will often have 9 level repercussions, right? So like, let's say you're on a dating app. Now, Tinder, they got rid of allowing people to put BDSM in their bios. But I remember back when I was on Tinder, I put BDSM in my bios, and from time to time, there'll be a woman who would see that, she'll be intrigued in that, and then I let her know, like, this is my program, this is how I do shit. So I just tell her, listen, you come through, I'm not gonna fuck you on the first link. You're gonna suck some dick, I'm gonna suck some toes, might give you a little foot rub, and that's how we're gonna do it. Now, there's a certain level of a high level of attraction, and it's not always a physical thing. Sometimes it's about the kink involved, it's about the intensity involved, it's about the curiosity involved. On that 9 level, it's not even offering a woman your dick up front, right? You can do that, and it'll work. But on that 9 level, you can strike up a woman's curiosity, right? And play on her ego about her dick sucking skills, and she's gonna be excited to do it because she already feels like, based off of how attracted she is to you on a sexual level, that performing on you sexually is gonna give her a certain level of validation. Just being able to please you sexually is gonna give her a certain level of validation. Now, the 9 level is one of my favorite ways to start, right? But I do believe that approaching on the 8 level, 7.5 to 8.5, 9 level is really one of the best ways to get into things. But you got to know how not to overplay your hand based on what level you're willing to deal with, right? So if you're willing to just fuck a woman when you meet her, but you overplay your hand and say, well, send me some nudes, come suck some dick, then a woman who has the 8 level of sexual attraction to you, she's not going to be down for that, right? Because she's attracted to you enough and desires you enough to want that dick, but she still wants to feel like she's getting something out of it, where giving you head is not going to feel like she's getting enough validation out of it. She's not going to feel like she has enough desire for you for that to work that way. So she may say, well, as long as we're having sex, I'll do it, but I want to already be engaged into a dynamic with somebody before we go on that level of me just giving head just to give head, because that's not something that really turns her on like that, right? So that's something that can happen if you overplay your hand on that, right? You can also overplay your hand by waiting for choosing signals, where a woman could be receptive to you on the 8 level, but she doesn't actively desire you on a great enough level for her to be actively trying to make that happen. That's the active desire level on the 9 level. On the 10 level, she's gonna come to you, right? She's either gonna come to you, she's gonna be willing to be transactional about the shit up front, where she'll spend some money to come fuck with you. She's gonna put some money in your pocket. You know what I mean? On that 10 level of sexual attraction, it's different, right? But on the 9 level is where, if you get into the dynamic, get into the situation with the woman on that 9 level, then she's gonna be willing to spend some money, do shit like that, right? Maybe not directly up front, but within the first few link ups, you tell her to come bring some wine by the house or something like that, she'll be willing to do it. On the 8 level, woman ain't trying to spend no money because the dick is an equivalent exchange. On the 9 level, you're giving her dick, right? So she knows she's gonna have to work for it a little bit because she knows she's getting more out of it than you're giving to it. Or she knows she's getting more out of it than she's giving to the situation. On the 8 level, it's an equivalent exchange. So she kind of might want to keep it at that. And you can climb up the levels, but you got to know what you're doing to do that.